I'm Jenny-Jaymes and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner in crime, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is Two Queers in a Truck time with Christian and Jenny. And gosh, if you're seeing this, it's September. It is. We have survived
September 4th.
We've survived the traditional summer, and we're already into the first week of September. And we've had Labor Day pass us by, and so much more. And survived Charlotte Pride. We survived Pride season. We're into spiced pumpkin latte season, which is one of my favorite seasons as far as the culinary delights. I love the pumpkin, and I love everything pumpkin. That's my true white girl side right there. If you want to know, like. The spice is okay. I do like it, but I love the flavor of pumpkin, like pumpkin pie, pumpkin cookies, pumpkin bread, all that. Yes, pumpkins. Roasted pumpkin seeds. It evokes a lot of things from my childhood, and it's just the positive parts of my childhood, and it's. Plus, September is my birthday month, so there is the Queen. It was born in this month, right before the end of summer, and so I made my mom miserable the last trimester because she had the last trimester when you're the heaviest and the most miserable during pregnancy. I happen to come along during the summer, so that alone makes me smile. But anyway, off to the show and off to the races. I had some crazy things come in the news feed, and one of them is this one isn't even crazy that far-fetched because it's been going on in Texas for quite a while. The supreme asshole, the AG, the Attorney General, I'm not going to give him a name because he's such a miserable prick, is terrorizing people, including the trans community again. This miserable prick is worked with the Department of Public Safety, the traffic cops, to deny transgender people the ability to change their gender marker on their IDs and driver's licenses, even with a court order. So he has told the DPS to openly defy the court system. The non-executive branch, the court system in Texas. He has taken it upon himself to be a little small dictator in chief and do that. He's also, there was a story of him raiding an 86-year-old person's house for some kind of voting thing. And I found it interesting because I follow several political things on Instagram, and it was until that story, even though the driver's license thing happened before the 86-year-old, there wasn't much outrage for the trans people because there was more outrage for the 86-year-old. And I posted on there, I said, he's been doing this for trans people for a hot minute. There's trans refugees. I consider myself a trans refugee. I got out when the getting was good. I knew I could see the handwriting on the wall. My family and myself have fought against authoritarian regimes. You could see Texas turning into Afghanistan and Iran before your very eyes. You could see a religious autocracy forming in our very eyes with the big old Queen Dan Patrick and Hot Wheels Albert. We're going to turn Texas into the biggest shithole ever. And they've accomplished that. Texas is officially a shithole. It doesn't represent anything that I grew up in, or that Christian grew up in. Like, we don't recognize the place. It's not what it used to be in the era of Mall Richards and, and being, unquote, the friendly state, which used to be on the license plates a long time ago. It's anything but welcoming and friendly, and they've ruined it. They punching down on people and raiding their houses for voting stuff. And, that's 30 years of Republican rule. And if the world, and especially the United States, if they want to see a snapshot of what Republicans want to do with Project 2025, we got Florida, we've got Arkansas, and we got Texas, and we got Montana for real life laboratories of Republican fuckery executed, where we can say they've banned drag queens, they've banned Don't Say Gay, they've taken away books, they've taken away people's right to vote, they've taken away trans people's right to even exist. The Attorney General several years ago started targeting families with trans kids to the point where thousands of families left Texas. In my lifetime, in our lifetime, we saw a state create refugees. Let that sit in for a second. Take all the time you need. That we saw a state create such a problem of MAGA and insane religious intolerance that Americans inside America have refugees. And it's happening with abortion. Texas is one of the states that has allowed counties and municipalities to limit women's travel inside the state so they can't leave to get an abortion. And the AGs also seized the medical records of trans people and have sued other states where Texans have left and fled to other states. They're suing other states for their medical records about us if we were a former Texan, which means me. Let that sink in. And I said several years ago, if they can do it to me, they'll do it to you. Like, I'm just the test case. I'm just the minority inside a minority. But every Hispanic that's from Texas, every Black person, every gay person, every lesbian, every trans person, if you think they will stop at me, you got a better chance of getting a blowjob from a rattlesnake than getting away with that. They're starting with us because we are the smallest minority in a group of minorities and a group of Rainbow Coalition, because we're going to be the easiest to hurt, to see if they can get away with it, and the courts have allowed it. Just because we're done in certain states, don't let it happen to you. Happy Pride, motherfuckers. But anyway, it's one of those things where I lashed out on this article in several ways and just said, y'all been sleeping on this issue for so long. You act like this is a new issue. This is nothing new. This AG is fucking nutso. And it's also a lesson to North Carolina. We have an AG race right now with one guy that's got a bathroom fetish and one guy that has a lick of fucking sense, that's smart, that's been, a pretty good guy and a good ally to a lot of communities. And then we have one jackass that's obsessed with people's bathroom habits. Which one do you want in? Do you want another version of the Texas guy? I hope not. I mean, we've got to stop sleeping on elections. There's too many places where Democrats are turning out 8, 10 12% people to the polls. That's called failure. That's called failing forward. Using our majority to look like a minority because, I don't know, we're stupid. we don't want to compete. I don't know what you call it, but it's just bizarre. And now I'll move on to another article that I think is really good. Because it was the fuck around and find out thing. A GOP lawmaker falsely accused drag queens of pedophilia, and now he has to pay $200,000 and had to issue a public apology. So State Representative David Love, Republican, surprise, surprise, this jackass is ordered to pay 2 drag queens $100,000 each for defamation and had to publicly apologize for calling them pedophiles. And this is what we have to do more of. We have to take jackasses like the jackasses in our state, like Mark Robinson and Bathroom Dan Bishop, and we have to say, if you want to be an asshole, you can't. It's your choice. Be as miserable of a prick as you can be, but we'll see you in court. And start suing the bad toupees off their heads and start suing their little sissy pants off and start, every time they look up, another suit's being sued, filed against them. Kind of like Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not going to learn a lesson until it starts costing them hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. You got to make it hurt. You got to put some stank on it. And once we do that, kind of like Trump, Trump's not as high and mighty as he was after a $500 million settlement against his ass and convicted of 34 felonies. The dude is panicking. The dude is making mistakes. He publicized the Project 2025 to intimidate people, and instead it fired them up. He let it get released because he didn't think there'd be the blowback. He pushed the anti-abortion to the point that now the religious right is just trying to remove contraception. They're telling women, hey, you don't get to choose when you get pregnant at all. Hell, you can't even get an IVF in certain states. If you go want to make a baby, no, we don't want you to make a baby like that. But we don't want you to prevent yourself from getting naturally pregnant. But we don't want you, because it's not with supposedly God's rules, to get, I don't know if it's artificially pregnant. They're still taking biological things from people and just helping nature along, which is what, other than the Amish maybe and the Quakers, are we going back to the Amish days or something? Are we going to start churning our own butter, pumping up and down? Hey, Christian, we're going to make all of our own food. We're going to start churning our own butter, put on little Quaker dresses,
I can do that.
Yeah. Put on a blonde wig.
That's right.
Start speaking. Thou
shall
show.
Thou want a baby? Come over here.
Want a baby? You want to do the missionary? The Dutch rudder. But yeah, this jackass. And I don't even know what state he's in, but he looks like New Hampshire, and he looks like
New Hampshire.
He's got this little balding head and this goofy look on his face, and these Republicans, these MAGAs, these absolute idiots throw around terms like pedophilia and stuff like that because it's usually the guilty screaming the loudest. Yeah, but it's also really offensive, and it's offensive because you're making an accusation that's a crime.
Yes,
it's not that. You're calling me, a slur, which that was up against our second break. We'll take our first break. We will take our first break and we'll come back and talk about this more. and some more Two Queers in a Truck.
Hey y'all, thanks for watching Coffee and Pandosi, but I wanted to talk about something personal. I have started a company with a business partner of mine called Java Notes Records. And we have an Instagram page, and in our biography, or as the cool kids call it, the bio, we have a link to our Indiegogo page. If you go onto our Instagram or our Facebook, we have a campaign going for our Indiegogo, and it's helping us start this company that's going to help so many people between employment, charitable events, things of that nature. We're really doing this for our local community and really trying to help others and create a job for me too. But if you would go to our Instagram page for Java, like Java Notes Records, and I would appreciate the support. Thanks for listening.
All
Bye,
right,
y'all.
so Instagram and Facebook, Java Notes
Records.
Right, got it. Java Notes Records. All right, thank y'all.
Hey everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in a Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye.
But these are accusations where Republicans are talking out of their ass and making these wild accusations because they think they're entitled to do it. And there's this sense of smugness and entitlement amongst some really dumb people, and they are fucking dumb. I mean, they prove it on our Facebook pages all the time. Like, Christian and I aren't Jedis, but we make them look stupid every day. Christian's done a masterful job of turning the argument around and calling them sissies and posting these hilarious memes. That the meme game, your meme game has stepped up tenfold. It's 10 out of 10. It's chef's kiss. And you are making these guys so infuriated. And what do they say? You know, when you call them big old sissies and queens, after a while, they just stop fighting.
Yes. So what can they say?
Because, first of all, it's probably true. They're probably at home hugging their penis-shaped pillows and crying about it, you know, when they're living in their mom's basement. And just, they're creepers. They're weird. They're so fucking weird. And how they ever got on this.
Imagine if everyone on, you know, because, you know, it's demographically, I mean, you and I know that it's very different. Facebook is more of a Gen Xer, late boomer type of platform. Instagram is a little bit younger. TikTok is a lot younger. You know, Twitter is really obsolete, but some people use Twitter, you know, more just for messaging. Imagine if Facebook ever became like TikTok insofar as how people replied. You wouldn't have all the chicanery on Facebook because they're not used to people replying to them. They're used to just like writing something on the wall and running away. They're cowards. You know, that's why you look at their profiles and there's no picture and there's like 17 followers because they're not real. Yeah. You know, and so it is, for me, it's personally, it's therapy. It's enjoyable.
Well, yeah. And you found a niche that, with these memes and this comeback that, first of all, is hilarious. And you know, these impotent jerks are sitting there stomping their little feet like children and throwing a tantrum and going, the liberals are being mean to me and they're calling me names like sissy, and I know I'm a sissy, but I don't want them to know that. And you know, and they sound like probably a 4 or 5 year old boy. And, you know, I mean, if you took away Trump's name and didn't realize he's an almost 80-year-old man, and you read his tweets, you would think a child was writing it. First of all,
exactly.
I mean, he's bigly stupid. But he you can hear the impotence and the frustration and the absolute failure because Donald Trump's a loser.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost every popular vote. He has lost 50% of the elections he's ever run in his entire career. 50% of the time he's failed. He's bankrupt almost every business he's ever had, except for the ones that were run not by him, but by NBC TV and Universal Studios, which was his TV show. The only reason his TV show was well run and never got bankrupt is because NBC said
he didn't run it.
We're not going to let you run it, and we're not going to let your kids run it either, because we know you'll steal from us. We know you'll lie to the government, but we'll give you a platform and we'll pay you good money. Deal. And it was the only time this jackass was successful in his life. Otherwise, he's running fake Trump universities and Trump steaks and $500 golden sneakers and everything else. But I wanted to touch on the third topic real quick. There was an article in Out Magazine about why Pete Buttigieg goes on Fox News so much. And he says, the reason I do is I want to meet people where they are. Yeah. I want to basically, and he didn't say this, he said, I can't be mad at somebody for not embracing our message if they've literally never heard it. And he has a good point. And first of all, Pete's pretty masterful with his language. Yeah. The dude just pantses them. Like, in school when somebody comes up behind you and pulls your pants down. He verbally pantses people. He is, I will say, since Obama, Pete's the new Obama as far as the verbal jousting is concerned. It was one of the big reasons why I did want him to get nominated as the vice president. I wanted him to go up against J.D. Vance, the drag queen, Sofa Loren. Yeah, I wanted to see the mental, the stupidity of J.D. Vance up against the chess master, friggin', Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary. I wanted to see Pete just destroy him on national TV. And, and just, that would have been sweet. I would have been here for it. I wouldn't have cared if it had been televised on Fox. I would have found a way to watch it on Fox. I would have tolerated Fox just to see this, because for Pete, it wouldn't matter. Yeah. He's like Muhammad Ali, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He just, you watch him go in, he doesn't miss. That maybe it's his military training. He does not miss. He's like an assassin. And before these dumb Republicans and conservatives know what he's done, he's got them looped up like in a Brazilian jiu-jitsu move. And next thing you know, their faces by their ankles. And they go, oh, I'm done. Just stick a fork in me. Once again, Pete Buttigieg has got us. And what's even better, Fox keeps inviting him on. Yeah. That's the best part. They're like, no, we're stupid. We like this. We like being shown up by Pete. Like we enjoy being outsmarted, which doesn't take much. I mean, all you need is a microphone and a like a 6th grade education or above. You're going to outsmart most MAGAs. You all you got to do is have a higher than middle school understanding of biology, for example, with trans people, and understand that there's a lot of things that they don't understand, and they prove how stupid they are every single day. We don't really have to do anything. I mean, that's the great thing about Harris's speech at the end of the DNC. People kind of commented that maybe she didn't do enough. I'm like, no. Harris needs to do 2 things. Make it around the country as much as possible, especially in the battleground states. Get Tim Walz out there as much as humanly possible. And don't fuck it up. And let the MAGAs just fucking let them talk. The more they talk, the stupider they sound. Just let them. Just point it out. All you gotta do is point it out, walk away. Point it out, walk away, and just go, well, isn't that creepy? And walk away and talk about your policy points and talk about hope. And she's gonna win in a landslide. She doesn't have to do too much because Trump now has a history of being stupid. So does Vance. So does RFK Jr., the three-headed dummy dragon of the right. Three conspiracy theorists that, they're just wow. It's the caucasity of it all is just unreal. Anyway, there is a lesbian DJ that carries. So the Paralympics, if people don't know this because it's not as popular as the regular Olympics, but after the regular Olympics, the Paralympics, which is for people with disabilities, happens. And whether it's wheelchair basketball, so on and so forth, it's a real thing. They do it in the same city as the other Olympics. It's still run the same way, the whole 9 yards. But a lesbian DJ carried the Paralympic torch despite the Olympic opening ceremony getting death threats. She also received death threats for appearing in the Olympic opening ceremony that featured the drag queens as well. And it's one of these things. I'm like, first of all, why are you threatening somebody that is in the Paralympics, people? Like having a disabled dad, a wounded warrior dad. What a fucking, to me, no matter what she performed with drag queens or carried the torch or the fact that she's a lesbian DJ, I don't know. But why are you threatening somebody like that? When the Olympics are supposed to bring about peace and fellowship and good sportsmanship and all that kind of stuff that came from ancient Greece, and we got to threaten. That this is bizarre to me, but of course, lying about an Algerian boxer being trans when she's not and thinking that's an insult is also funny because the French authorities didn't think it was so funny because now they've pressed criminal charges against Elmo Musk and the second-rate British author out of the UK that I won't name her that piece of shit either. I just don't want to give her press. She's ripped off every sci-fi and fantasy genre and wrote it down into a book that is mediocre at best, that struck a chord with people because they didn't realize she was the villain in the book in real life, that she's a raging total bitch. And has got a face like a foot anyway. And I don't know why she is so hung up on trans people. I don't know if it's because trans women are prettier than her. I don't know if they're just because trans people go about their life and are happy and she's a miserable freaking twat. I don't know what's wrong with her, but she is a horrible human being, and she has spent money and time terrorizing my fucking community and getting people like me killed and injured and thrown out alive. And I'm so excited about her criminal charges in France and the lawsuit. I hope the Algerian boxer takes all of her money and Elmo's money too. I'm here for it. I hope there's a class action suit. Anyway, we're up against our second break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in the Truck. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in the Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye, boo.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching us on Two Queers in a Truck. Don't forget, you can watch us anytime at your leisure on our video podcast platforms like Facebook and YouTube. But you can also listen to us, either this show or any of our past shows, on our audio podcast platforms like Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and all of the other ones. So once again, thank you for watching Two Chords in a Truck. I hope you enjoy our show.
But I'm sick of these weirdos. You know, Elmo being from South Africa and being apartheid Clyde. I'm sick of the stupid smugness. You talk about being anti-immigrant. I'm anti-white South African. I'm not worried about El Salvadorians coming over into this country fucking it up. I'm worried about that jackass. He actually has money and some semblance of power. I don't know why banks invest into this jackass, because he took a $50-60 billion company like Twitter and turned it into a $17 billion company. And his cuck truck literally is blowing up. Like, not blowing up in sales, but literally blowing up. There is a picture of a cuck truck. I call it the Cybertruck, the cuck truck, because he's literally cucking all these MAGA incels into buying these $100,000 electric trucks. And this one cuck truck got in a wreck, and it looks like an exploded mushroom. There's no crumple zones. The person that was driving that truck was unalived. It says in the article, but the truck is just burnt. It looks like a beer can that's been thrown in a burn barrel in Texas. And somebody's paid $100,000. Well, they did pay $100,000. They ain't here anymore. I don't think Elmo's going to do his payments. What? Just why are they still legally allowed to be on the road? They have none of the national highway transportation safety standards. Why aren't these all being recalled? Like, it's going to be a class action suit. And I think it's funny because it's a lot of upper middle class and wealthy, really, really stupid MAGAs that bought these 3,000 trucks, and he only sold 3,000. And they're not only are they ugly, they're falling apart. Like, if they don't blow up or go off a cliff, they literally fall apart. Brakes go out because they wired the brakes and not in a redundant separate system, but with everything else. And so when the system gets overloaded because it's all truncated through the same electronic system, the brakes just stop working. Yeah, think about that. You paid $100,000 for a shittier braking system than my $18,000 Kia. My car is a piece of shit, but I can get in a wreck and walk away. At
least your brakes work.
But my little car looks like a range ball from a golf driving range. But it does stop most of the time, and it's a 5-star crash-rated car. It has crumple zones. Kia has standards. Apparently, Tesla doesn't have to have safety standards, because you can look at this picture, and I'm telling you, none of the safety standards are there. This thing is just a bunch of super glued metal, sheet metal, aluminum panels just glued together, and you can tell because it just and it's not supposed to do that. Cars and trucks aren't supposed to do that. And working in the auto industry and going to the different educational training schools and explaining technology and seeing wrecks being towed into the dealership, you can see how the dynamics, the physics of car crashes work. Yeah. And so that if we had clients that asked, we could actually kind of explain, I mean, as much as a car person can, which isn't much. But it's just wild that people spent $100,000 with a guy, and it's so that they think that he's going to personally like them because they bought his overpriced death traps. All these pick me. You know, they were all the fat kids in PE class that didn't get picked. And now they've grown up and they've made some sort of money to be able to afford these $100,000 death traps, and they're writing about it publicly. They're going, some of them are kind of honest and will say this isn't such a great decision. Some are still defiant. They're still in denial. They're still delulu, and they're going. But the only reason why I'm talking about it is because the famously anti-trans Elmo Musk, apartheid Clyde, the trust fund weenie himself, is the kind of person that MAGA loves. He inherited money. He never made it. He's not self-financed. There's such an illusion that people are self-financed. Nobody's self-made. We all lean on somebody. We all have spouses. We have this. We have that. We have family members. We have friends. We all draw strength from our resources and our friends and our circles. And this whole illusion that conservatives are the only ones that pick themselves up by their bootstraps.
Yeah.
Self-made. They're these brilliant people. And the liberals are stupid and confused and don't understand biology, even though their reference of biology is 6th grade. And we're PhDs, and we explain that there's more to gender and sex identity than you'll ever know. And then when we go explain it, their jaws is dropping. They go, well, I know what you are, but who am I? Kind of thing, and then they go to the who farted, scenario, because they clearly are outclassed. I had an Instagram troll block me because we went 3 or 4 rounds of me. He was trying to explain to me how transgender people and how biology works.
Oh,
now,
wow.
I've read about this only for about 3 or 4 decades. I've worked with lots of doctors. I've ran support groups. But sure, I know nothing about gender identity or how trans people are even baked in the mama's stomach. Like, I don't know anything. I felt like Pete Buttigieg must feel. I schooled this young lambskin and made him absolutely a stupid looking, to the point where he blocked me. The point where he's like, no moss. Yeah. I don't want to. I don't want to. He didn't want to verbally joust with me anymore because the other people on the Instagram thing were cheering me on, and it was pretty funny, and it's on this really cute trans girl models page. She's just as cute, this really young Asian little trans girl from California that does these cute little reels and TikToks, and it was just cute as pie, like just a cutie pie, just a little baby gay, just having a good time. And this dick decided to write something dickish, the usual. And I explained to him his middle school understanding of biology and showed him exactly how he was wrong. And about 3 or 4 comments in, after I destroyed what was left of his manhood, he blocked me, because that's all he could do.
Yeah.
And but I wanted to talk about something Harris did when she was the Attorney General of California, and it was something she did back in 2015. And the Republicans were trying to more or less outlaw gay sex. And they did a proposed initiative called the Sodomite Suppression Act. And they were basically trying to...
I don't know why that just sounds funny to me.
It does sound funny. It sounds funny, but it's actually pretty sinister. But maybe it's a nervous laugh. It would allow them, authorize the state of California to do the mass murder of gays and lesbians in the state. This was in 2015. This was not in 1850 or something like that, which I think, first of all, the sodomite term is very biblical and very I picture the Mormons saying that, we don't like the sodomites, we smite thee. And I'm thinking of Dirty Santa from 2020, and and you're just a sodomite and a trans testicle. And but the Sodomite Suppression Act was not legal in any way, shape, or form. But Harris made sure she squashed it and pushed back. And if people need to understand Harris, and especially if you're in the LGBT community, and this is called Two Queers in a Truck for a reason. We're two queers, and we used to go around in a truck, and talk on the show. Right. And now we sit in our little home studios and do this and pretend we're driving a truck. Beep beep. But Harris has always been an ally of the LGBT community. She's done a lot of work in California. She's done a lot of work as vice president. And Biden was a very he pushed back against even Obama and actually forced Obama's hand as vice president to endorse marriage equality. We wouldn't have marriage equality if it wasn't for Joseph Biden. He was very instrumental in releasing the White House support of that when the anti-marriage equality laws were being struck down, and the famous one that allowed for marriage equality all across the United States. During the mid-2010s to 2012, 2013, Joe Biden was adamant and just announced it at a press conference and did a press release. And then Obama had to kind of fall in line and support his vice president. And Harris looked to a vice president, a running mate that would support the LGBT community in the right way. And that was Harris. And she consistently defended our community as AG and then eventually as a senator from the great state of California, and shot down this bill was called, it never passed, was called Shoot the Gays Initiative. It was literally, went from the Sodomite Suppression Act, because probably nobody can understand what a sodomite is, because we're not in fucking 1850, and
exactly.
Switched it to the nickname Shoot the Gays. And it was basically going to this McLaughlin from California was the one that it was very much trying to put people fear of God. The abominable crime against nature known as buggery, sometimes known as sodomy, is a monstrous evil that Almighty God, giver of freedom and liberty, commands us to suppress on pain of utter destruction, even as he overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. This guy screams positive, man.
Yeah.
That screams, I love cock, but I can't admit it. That I wear some cherry chipstick and I kissed a guy and I liked it. And it's impotent gay bottom is what in my mind evokes when somebody is quoting ancient scripture and doesn't even understand that God smited Sodom and Gomorrah for so many other reasons, or the fact that your sky fairy doesn't really exist and it never really happened. But anyway, no big deal. But that is our last segment with Two Queers in a Trunk. And get out there and support Harris and Waltz, and let's bring some joy back to our country. Bye, everybody. Bye, Boo.
Bye, y'all. Happy fall.
Happy fall. Pumpkin season.
God, it's hard to believe. Oh, shoot. I got to.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching Two Queers in a Truck. And we're into the September season, into the pumpkin spice latte girly pop season. And, it's a good time to remind everybody it's time to register for vote. If you aren't currently registered, or you need to double check your registration because you maybe haven't voted in a while, or you live in a state where you have a jackass Republican AG, check your voter registration. And if you're not registered, please, for the love of God, register and vote. Voting is easy, it's free, and it is the best thank you note you can ever do for a veteran or a person you love right now. Vote while you still can. And y'all have a great week. Thanks, y'all.
Bye, Boo.
Bye, Boo.